skies are darkening the world, you know. The hills no longer green. Like the animals, your blood will flow. Dreaming of this Christmas.
Smiling wide with empty eyes, I'll find you. You're a lot of fun, just like your friend. You're hiding, but I'm deep inside your mind. You'll die 1,000 times. Do you wanna try again? You're tired of running, nowhere to hide it. I'm getting closer every second.
Behind you.
There's so many songs to play with, so little time. Not long till I find you. Run for your life. You're in my world now. You're joining your friends. I'm coming to take your soul. In the end, you can't run.
Sonic.exe Nightmare Beginning was a game created many years ago by Jay Kois, and in a way, changed the way Sonic.exe games were seen. It wasn't the perfect game, but it had an interesting narrative, something that, at the time, was sort of unheard of for Sonic.exe. It introduced new characters and a new concept, a concept of hope. One where the Sonic characters could actually fight back and fight the EXE. This would start the Nightmare universe, an expanding story and narrative following Exetior. With such popularity and interest, it held a lot of potential and was loved by many. Some even say it was the reason they got into Sonic.exe or Sonic at all. To some people, this was the definitive Sonic.exe. And personally, I didn't mind the original game. Hell, I even made a video of Nightmare Beginning on my channel. And I gotta say, I had a fun time making the video. Was the game frustrating at some points? Absolutely. But I still enjoyed it. And I could see that back in the day why this was so hype. It had moments that you just didn't see in Sonic.exe at the time. And the story was, interesting to an extent. And the story had these new characters that were kind of approaching things differently. And you're like, well, what are they about and what do they do? The curiosity was there, but things wouldn't exactly stay like this. Instead of taking a positive turn, it took one for the worst. The creation of Sark upset and steered away quite a bit of the audience. And for good reason. I won't say what he does, as it's sort of if you know, you know kind of thing, but it doesn't belong in a story about a demon hedgehog wanting to capture Mobius. It was incredibly insensitive and a baffling choice in writing. I could go all day in this, but I'm not going to. Sark the character just pisses me off. I don't care if that's the point. This was a terrible writing choice. But with this in place, anyone who would have considered getting into Nightmare Universe knew about Sark and straight away, including me. What if it didn't have to be that way? What if this universe did away with all the weird writing and turns and took a completely different approach, each character having conflicts in a proper story? It keeps the basic idea and improves on it, building off of this crazy universe and expands in a narrative we've never seen in Sonic.exe. A story of emotional conflict, inner struggle, and loss of identity and pain. This is what the Nightmare Universe Prime aims to achieve. With new designs for the characters, with insane art, a comic on the way, and a lot of side projects, including an FNF spin-off story, it realizes the potential of the original Nightmare universe and takes out any controversies. It's also worth mentioning that while this may be canon to the NU, the person in charge and does all the writing and organizing is Galaxy Knight. The link for the YouTube channel and where you can follow their stuff is down below. I also want to mention that it's going to be doing a story with Sonic.exe Wrath of Mobius as a collaboration, but we'll talk about all the spin-off stuffs and side projects a little later. For now, we're going to focus on this video on Exetior, pretty much the face of Nightmare Universe and how he's different to his original counterpart and not just in design. We will also cover important story elements and what to expect in NU Prime comics that are being worked on. I'm also going to address Sark in this video, and it's going to be his NU Prime counterpart. So I really want to emphasize that NU Prime Sark is not the same and is rewritten by somebody else. So that's why he's in the thumbnail. I'm going to be talking about the dynamic between Exetior and Sark and how he treats everyone else, and just getting to know the characters so you guys can expect the comic. So without further ado, let's jump into this vastly different story and talk about why I have come to really love it with a little bit of bias for reasons I can't say why yet. Exetior is born from the energy of a royal archdemon and a royal highest. Demons are born from negative energy, and highest are born from positive energy. As you may have assumed, a highest are kind of like angels. Maybe made of positive energy, but some of them are assholes. And in Exetior's case, somehow he's a mix of both. This was thought to be impossible, yet somehow it happened when his parents combined the two to create him. So that makes him half demon and half highest. They have a whole society and hierarchy system. Exetior was kept in the dark about his original heritage, being taken away at a young age by what they call All-Father Prime. Now, this is not to be confused with this All-Father. They are different, hence why I'll call him All-Father Prime. I'll go ahead and read what's on the wiki to give you guys an idea. After many years of being kept away from any serious matters involving other highest and demons, Exetior slowly became curious of his own unique nature and sought it out. After learning the truth about what happened to his parents, like the original Exetior, he began his war with the highest. Exetior Prime and his allies quickly overtook and controlled different versions of Mobius across 4 different universes to gain strength. Over time, learning to work with the inhabitants of his world rather than outright control them. Now, this is where they share a similarity, but how these events go down and how Exetior handles it is vastly different and focuses more on the story. He's not outright just taking them over and demonizing them, but trying to work with them, to levy with them, and you see that in his dynamic with Sonic, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Each character isn't just some evil demon for no reason. The new 4 are given character development and a lot of depth to them individually. Each one of the Sonic cast also has some drastic changes on how they're handled in the story. Each chapter focuses on how they take over different Mobiuses and the different steps they take to do it and how they struggle with it. In Exetior's case, he's a very complex character as he struggles with the thought of making people suffer. Truthfully, he's conflicted. He doesn't want his emotions to take hold, and I would argue he's become a morally gray character. He's just doing what he feels is absolutely necessary to not only ensure the fate of his planet, but also, in time, theirs too. So let's go over the events of what happens when Exetior is attempting to take over his Mobius. Exetior needs to invade Mobius in order to weaponize it against his enemies, using the Chaos Emeralds and the Master Emerald, along with demonizing the planet to properly fight back and build his army. After all, the highest are a godlike society, and this is what needs to be done. Exetior lands onto the planet, seeking a vessel to thrive. His focus on the mission razor sharp, and he comes across the blue blur, and immediately takes the chance to take over his body. He's not at full power yet, as the willpower of Sonic is incredibly strong, but he has some control for now. With a vessel secured, he had to stop anyone in his way, and what better person to start with than Tails? Tails is the first victim because, I mean, you guys know. I don't even have to say much at this point. Exetior chases Tails, but the clever fox is able to escape through an underground passage. The process of events follow that of the game Nightmare Beginning. After this event, Exetior goes after Knuckles at Scrap Brain Zone. Knuckles is one to never go down without a fight, and a fight is what happens. A brutal brawl where he's actually able to do some damage to the intruder, but for some reason, it seems Exetior is only growing stronger, and is able to fight back and forces Knuckles to retreat. Exetior makes his way to Robotnik, invading his base. Before this, as the fight between Knuckles and Exetior rages on, a blue glint hides itself in the corner of Scrap Brain Zone. Mecha Sonic is there, observing what is happening. Through the visor of this mechanical presence, we cut to a scene where Eggman is rapidly flipping through a book with ancient text on it, trying to find what this creature is. In it are a bunch of Easter eggs and references to other things like Nazo, Dark Gaia, and other EXEs. You guys will see when the comic releases, but I thought this detail was cool when Galaxy was telling me this stuff. Anyway, as Robotnik is throwing his mechs and everything he has at the creature, including Metal Sonic, he makes a tactical retreat. It was explained to be that all of them meet up in the stupid fog level from the game. Yeah. Don't think I forgot about this place, guys. It's called Nightmare Beginning, and I'm still wondering when my nightmare is ending. I can hear people cringing. After the group reaches Deadly Fog, and after forming a plan, they fight for their survival. They are untrusting of each other and are forced to work together. Clumsy, but they know one bad mistake will make things go south and cost them their lives. Their lack of teamwork actively works against them, but somehow they make it through. They reach Hidden Palace and get to the Master Emerald. This was their chance to turn the tide against the unknown entity that was threatening them. A way to end this madness. Exetior was there already, waiting for them. Then, an intense battle takes place, of which I won't reveal what happens, as I feel like it's best you experience it when the comic comes out. It sounds like I mostly just described Nightmare Beginning. The same game, but I'm claiming it's different. But it's during this fight, or rather what happens after, is what defines the usual .exe and sets him apart. How he deals with the problem and how he feels about it. That's his defining character trait. Also, another thing I want to add, he works with Sonic in some regard, but he seems to cooperate in some ways. For example, in moments of rest, Exetior actively gives Sonic his body back for periods of time. Sonic has free reign to do what he needs to, let it be known. This is temporary. Exetior and Sonic also share interactions in ways we don't normally see. This also applies to the main three: Sark, Provision, and Negagen. All of them get more attention to their characters, and for the most part, better interactions. And I'm just going to satiate your curiosity because I know some of you guys have been wondering since the beginning of this video. What is Sark like when he's not poorly written? As shown by his oddly muscular tone, he's a brutish killer who believes in the rule of strength. Being the former leader of the demons, Sark believes only the strongest can survive and the weaker either follow him or die. Now, I won't go into his history, but I can promise you the only thing he really does is beat the shit out of anyone and taunt them. No weird direction here. I want to focus his and Exetior's dynamic. Since Sark believes in the strongest will survive, and Exetior wants the best for his people, why would he follow him? If Exetior really does have this emotional depth, why would Sark follow that sort of softness, quote unquote? Well, Exetior is like, you want the strongest to lead? Okay. And then beats the shit out of him and makes him follow him instead. So, yeah, he basically just beats Sark and forces him to comply. As for the other two, well, the lore goes pretty in depth on how they meet and how they get along, so I'll have to save it for another day. I do want to tell you guys about Provision, but I think they deserve their own video due to how drastically different they are compared to their original counterpart. And don't get me started with Waterboy. This guy is way different, but keeps his core design and some elements of his character. That being said, that's the basics of Exetior Prime. Exetior Prime is a more complex character. He shows a lot of promise, and with the art I've seen, it really seems to be taking a positive direction. That being said, there's a couple of things I want to talk about and what you can expect. Sonic.exe Wrath of Mobius will see the main four characters introduced in some way. I'm not sure on the details, but it might be their first appearance in a game. If you guys don't know the game, I'll leave a place where you can watch my video on it and a link in the description. The other spin-off thing is something I'm excited for, and I'm sure other people will be too. A Friday Night Funkin' mod featuring a completely unique story, animated cutscenes, new songs, and a lot more. It aims to follow Boyfriend in his descent into the Nightmare Universe Prime, and seems to be a fun, lighthearted mod that I'm excited for. Well, aside from the first song. That one sounds pretty sad. I'll go ahead and show some teasers for the songs, starting with Sinister Serenade, which is currently public. I'll leave a link to where you can find this song in the description. From what I've seen and heard, the narrative is pretty compelling in the songs. Well, I can't say much, but there's one song in particular I really think you guys are gonna like. And I can't reveal it because Galaxy was like, no, we gotta save it. It'll be a great surprise. So I can't. However, I can show you another song I like. It's only the instrumental, but has a lot of motifs and references to end-use history. And that's the part I'm gonna show you. Both of these songs are emotional, which kind of contradicts what I said about it being lighthearted, but fret not, it does take a lighthearted turn, and a plot twist will subvert your expectations. Just trust me on this one, guys. Either way, be expecting something really well made. I know I'm excited for it. They also have involvement with Fury of X, a really cool animation and story that involves a crossover with Nightmare Universe Prime. The series connects the two and showcases a unique and alternate version of Lord X existing in the greater universe of NU Prime. It doesn't just exist in its bubble, it branches out beyond that and tells multiple stories. So keep that in mind if you check out the animation. It follows the rules of NU Prime's world building and won't mess with it overall. I know Nightmare Universe fans might be worried that would be the case, but it fits within the timeline and exists in the bigger picture. A lot of the steps were taken to ensure that this would make sense in universe. It doesn't affect the overall narrative, and if it does, it works in tandem with it. The animation is really cool. It sets the scene for Lord X and its crossover with the Nightmare Universe. Nightmare Universe Prime takes what made NU unique and does away with all the questionable writing choices with a team of people who are passionate about realizing its real potential. A full team of VAs, artists, animators, and more. Voice actors bringing the characters to life in the comics, artists and animators working to build it. What captivated you from the beginning when you were potentially a kid, and does it in a way that's not disrespectful. It shows conflict and struggle, emotion like we haven't seen in a Sonic.exe setting. It still acknowledges the good of the past, but improves it a lot, along with taking away the bad. Nightmare Universe Prime is something I'm looking forward to seeing. And to each of the team watching this, thank you guys for the work you guys do. Hopefully, I won't let you guys down. And thank you, viewer, for watching and giving the video a chance. I know a lot of people were holding their pitchforks seeing Sark in the thumbnail, and I 100% get it. I wrote the book on hating Sark, and the only reason I talked about him in this video is because he is completely rewritten by somebody else. That being said, thank you for watching, and remember, I will not be saying "stay freaky" in this specific video, so subscribe!